On July 16, 2024, speaking at a United Nations Security Council meeting, Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov made a rather alarming statement. In particular, he reminded those present of the words of White House National Security Communications Advisor John Kirby, who, speaking on behalf of the U.S. President, said that Washington does not want the outbreak of World War III, as this would lead to terrible consequences for the European continent. According to Sergei Lavrov, with this statement, Washington once again demonstrated its conviction that Europe, and not the United States, will suffer again in the event of a new World War outbreak. Commenting on John Kirby's words, the Russian senior diplomat stressed that American politicians are deeply mistaken, thinking that another global war would not affect the territory of the United States again. At the same time, Sergei Lavrov called on European countries to come to their senses and finally realize what a suicidal role their so-called American allies have prepared for them. Meanwhile, against the backdrop of numerous successes of Russian troops on the battlefield, Western politicians continue to increase the escalation of tension, bringing the world even closer to the beginning of World War III. Military experts have noticed that every day, it becomes increasingly hard for NATO to hide its involvement in the conflict against Russia. Almost every day, new evidence appears on the network that active-duty soldiers of the armies of NATO countries are participating in hostilities on the side of the armed forces of Ukraine against Russian troops. Almost every day, new evidence appears on the web that high-ranking officers of the North Atlantic Alliance not only operate complex Western weapons systems, but are also present in the command posts of the Ukrainian army, developing a battle plan against Russian troops. By the way, yesterday, the Russian military published another footage of the destruction of another command post of the armed forces of Ukraine, along with Ukrainian and Western officers. It is reported that a Russian reconnaissance drone discovered this command post on the right bank of the Dnieper River, in the Kherson region. It is reliably known that the Russian military monitored this facility for several days, and struck at it just at the moment when Ukrainian and Western officers gathered there. The footage clearly shows how the Russian high-precision air-to-surface cruise missile Kh-38 literally wipes this Ukrainian army's command post off the face of the earth. According to sources in the Russian military department, as a result of this missile strike, 15 officers of the Ukrainian and NATO forces were killed. In addition, to the northwest of this area, the Russian reconnaissance drone Zala also detected a cluster of trucks of the armed forces of Ukraine. As it turned out, the Ukrainian High Military Command used these trucks at night to supply the grouping of the armed forces of Ukraine in the northern part of the Kherson region. After the reconnaissance drone transmitted the exact coordinates to the Russian military, this area was hit by a Russian Iskander-M ballistic missile with a cluster warhead. As a result of this missile strike, all targets were successfully hit and destroyed. In addition, this missile strike also disrupted the logistics chain, through which the Ukrainian High Military Command supplied the grouping of the armed forces of Ukraine in the northern part of the Kherson region. Commenting on the destruction of another command post along with NATO officers, military expert, corresponding member of the Academy of Military Sciences, and director of the Information Center for International Security, Alexander Bartosh, said that the North Atlantic Alliance is waging a real war against Russia, and that Moscow's victory in the confrontation with Kiev could provoke NATO to launch direct military action against Russia. Moreover, even Polish President Andrzej Duda has acknowledged this fact. In particular, he bluntly stated that Moscow's victory in the conflict against Ukraine could lead to a full-scale war with NATO. According to him, the North Atlantic Alliance is already preparing for possible military operations against Russian troops. Military expert Alexander Bartosz stressed that the Russian High Military Command is well aware of all possible risks and is ready for an attack by NATO forces. The expert said that in the event of an attack by NATO forces, the first thing Russia will do is destroy the largest NATO military base in Germany, Ramstein. In addition, Russian ballistic, cruise, and hypersonic missiles will also hit and destroy the main French missile manufacturing plants. Some of these missile manufacturing plants are located 180 kilometers from Paris. Russian missiles will also hit and destroy military installations in the French city of Le Plessis-Robinson. Let me remind you that it is in this city that the main headquarters of the manufacturers of Taurus cruise missiles is located. Military expert Alexander Bartosz noted that due to the fact that NATO adheres to threat tactics, the Russian military is fully considering the option of missile strikes against NATO military bases in Europe, Western weapons factories, and logistics routes. At the same time, you should understand that the distance from Kaliningrad to Paris is only 1,400 kilometers. That is, Russian hypersonic missiles will be able to cover this distance in just 200 seconds. Meanwhile, Russian state-run federal news agencies said that a source in the Russian military department confirmed that earlier this week the Russian missile forces destroyed a classified decision-making center in the capital of Ukraine, Kyiv. According to a source in the Russian military department, this destroyed decision-making center was a command post of the Security Service of Ukraine, where Ukrainian and Western officers planned strikes on the territory of the Belgorod and Kursk regions of the Russian Federation. Unfortunately, the source did not specify which Russian missile destroyed this classified enemy object. The only thing the source said was that during this missile attack, about 10 top officers of the Ukrainian Security Service were killed, as well as about 5 high-ranking NATO officers. In addition, it is also reported that during this missile attack, the first deputy head of the Security Service of Ukraine was injured. It is reported that he is still in very bad condition at the underground bunker in one of the city hospitals.